My name is Jason Gawley. I'm the president and co-founder of TruIQ, and it's my pleasure to share with you the good news of Silky Smooth from TruIQ headquarters right here in Utah, United States of America. Now, I know that anti-aging is a very personal thing. Some people are very concerned about their visible aging. And of course, we know other people really don't give two hoots about how they look externally. Regardless of where you fall into that spectrum, part of the good news of TruIQ is that Silky Smooth likely has a solution for you wherever you fall. Now, here's what I mean by that. And you can also kind of, if you're looking at the screen, you can get a sense for the fact that Silky Smooth as an anti-aging serum is meant to address primarily two things: visible aging on our skin and also aging in our hair. How does that work, and how does one single formulation address all those things? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here today, my friends. Is Silky Smooth has an entire long list of benefits, all the way from stretch marks to wrinkles, sags, bags, gray hair, you name it. The specific formulation that is Silky Smooth is guaranteed to address visible aging and also even stave off potential aging. So maybe today you don't really want to reverse your visible aging, but you just want to make sure that you don't look 10 years older than you should be tomorrow. Well, Silky Smooth can help you with that. And even if you don't even care about aging, even though it's called an anti-aging serum, there are a lot of primary health benefits you can receive from Silky Smooth. Anti-aging, of course, being chief among them. I mean, let's be realistic. A lot of us do care about visible aging. So how does that work? Well, I want to be clear here before we jump into some of those details. As a member of TruIQ, you can go to your TruIQ website. That's truiqglobal.com. The link is right there on the page. Simply click on that link or type it into your URL. Go to the Silky Smooth page and you can download this flyer for yourself. If you happen to know people who are interested in Silky Smooth, especially after we have this conversation, I would hope you do. But if you'd like to share the good news of Silky Smooth with other people, this flyer is a great way to do so. Very simple, right to the point, and helps us understand that whether you're talking about skin or hair, Silky Smooth can make a big difference for us. And that flyer is a great way to go. Now, typically, we like to focus primarily and begin with benefits. What are the benefits of using Silky Smooth, the anti-aging serum? Well, to understand its benefits, I think it's also helpful for us to shift gears a smidgen and talk about the ingredients, because it, after all, are the ingredients that make Silky Smooth such a powerful anti-aging serum. Not lotion, not cream, a serum. And as you can see here on the screen, these 8 essential organic primary ingredients drive in synergy one with the other the anti-aging benefits for us. And they work with our blood chemistry, both topically and even transdermally, and also follically on our scalp, on our head, and generally across our entire body. Now, I know that sounds very all-encompassing, right? A lot of superlatives here, but let's maybe kind of boil this down to why do these 8 ingredients make such a difference for us? Well, remember what I said a second ago, that this anti-aging serum, kind of as a whole body anti-aging solution, works both on our skin and on our hair. Well, let's talk about hair first. One of the most important ingredients in Silky Smooth is argan oil. It comes from a unique country called Morocco. You've probably heard of it before. That's where Casablanca is. But Morocco happens to be the home country of a specific kind of tree that produces an oil that causes our hair and skin to look younger, be younger, and restore itself back to the way it was even when we were 10, 20, and sometimes even 30 years younger. And if you look at the benefits there, you can see that not only are skin and hair restoration at the top of the list, but it also has anti-aging, stretch mark, and sun damage benefits there too. It's what we call a super ingredient. There's a lot of what's called vitamin E in that argan oil as well. It's very concentrated, and I think most importantly, very quickly absorbed, both into the hair and into the skin. And if you're a member of TruIQ already and you've put some Silky Smooth, in fact, I've got some right here. If you've put some Silky Smooth on your hands, kind of rubbed it, and you feel like it's just immediately absorbed. But then also, if you've ever tried this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If your hair is dry and you want to put some Silky Smooth in your hair, as soon as you touch your hair, it's gone. It immediately, almost everybody's hair immediately absorbs Silky Smooth because that argan oil is so rapidly absorbed, which is one of the reasons why we always recommend, if you're going to use Silky Smooth for gray hair and otherwise to restore your hair back to its silky, shiny, healthy state, make sure that you apply your Silky Smooth while your hair is still damp. We recommend just right out of the shower. Just after you've dried it a little bit, then work the Silky Smooth into your hair so you can spread all of that out through, not only from the follicles, but through the entire length of your hair, even down to the tips and even the split ends. If you have split ends, ladies, then this is going to address a lot of those issues instead of all the frizzy, because the frizzy comes from the split ends, and especially if you're blow drying your hair. Well, Silky Smooth is going to prevent a lot of that, because by the time your hair gets to its full length, it dries out, doesn't have enough of those essential amino acids and of course what argan oil contains, like the vitamin E, and it dries out, starts to fray, separate. That's what happens when things are dry, just like your skin. You got dry skin, your skin cells flake off. Hair is the same way. But by using Silky Smooth in your hair, you're less likely to deal with any of those kinds of challenges, which is one of the reasons why the argan oil in Silky Smooth is such a powerful ingredient. But of course, we're not just talking about argan oil. Remember, there are 8 primary ingredients in Silky Smooth. Oh, and I should probably back up here really quickly for a second. Guys, just bear with me for a second. Ladies, I have to guess that many of you have bought argan oil shampoo and conditioner before. You've heard about the good news of it, but you've only been using argan. It's helpful, but does it have jojoba in there too? Well, that's an unlikely combination, but that is in Silky Smooth. Why? Because not only does it feed and kind of duplicate some of those benefits that the argan is doing, but it kind of locks in some of those benefits from the argan oil. So you're getting kind of a 1-2 punch where you get the benefits of one, the benefits of the other, and they compound on top of one another to lock in that moisture, but then also give the hair some more elasticity, even though we don't think about hair being elastic.
He's exorcist.
In fact, be elastic.
He got repossessed.
So make sure that you have some of that elasticity in your hair. And the only way you can do that is have some of these ingredients here in Silky Smooth, specifically the argan oil and the jojoba. So, but also consider this though, and I would draw your attention to the bottom right side of your screen. You can see that it is also an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. Why does that matter? Because we know that hair health is often determined by our scalp health and also our internal health. If we're full of free radicals and if we're unhealthy, our hair is probably going to represent that. I think most of us understand that intuitively. But by using Silky Smooth, we know that those antioxidants are kind of going to work from the outside in and ensure that our hair looks the way it's supposed to. So ladies and even guys, if you're out there, if you're really concerned about making sure that your hair looks the way it's supposed to, stays elastic, is safe, not frizzy, looks shiny, this is where you want to go. Now, last of all, as we talk about the jojoba, I draw your attention once again to that bottom of the list. You see where it says balances lipids. Lipids are natural fats. Now, these fats are very necessary to ensure that the shine and health of our hair is, well, not only at the proper state based on our age, but also doesn't fail us. So how do we do that?
You're getting this lane.
around it because you're
We
going too
make
slow. Now you
sure
speed up.
that we're using Silky Smooth, because the Silky Smooth does in fact balance out a lot of those lipids. So let's move on here really fast, because I know we've got a lot here to cover. But just remember, though, that Silky Smooth works not only on hair, but also on skin. The last thing we want to talk about really quickly is natural dimethicone in Silky Smooth. Now, I know this might kind of sound a little bit scientific and boring. Oh my gosh, Jason, just tell me, does it work or does it not? Yes, it does work. But we have to remember why it works. And think about this. Have you ever, ladies, and maybe even guys, had a problem where you're trying to brush through your hair and the brush just gets stuck? And then you kind of work it through as hard as you can. And when the brush finally comes out to the end, you're looking at your brush going, oh my gosh, what did I just do to myself? I feel like I just scalped myself. If you've ever felt that way, it's because your hair does not have enough sebum and enough of those lipids that have permeated from your scalp and from each of those follicles to saturate your hair, which is natural. That is natural. So what's the solution? Well, by working Silky Smooth into your scalp and throughout your hair after you've got out of the shower, the dimethicone is going to ensure that you can brush calmly, easily, safely, without a problem, without getting caught, all the way from your scalp to the last end of each one of your hair follicles and each one of the hair strands. Why does that matter? Well, once again, it's because we have to make sure that if we're going to style our hair, we need to know that we're not ripping our hair out. We need to be able to run the brush, comb, and other of our tools through our hair properly. And the dimethicone enables us to do that, but it has another benefit. As you can see, it's an emollient. What that means is it's also going to ensure that if there are any other hair treatments, let's say you use a mask or you're using some other hair treatment or even a scalp treatment, it's going to mix with those and blend them throughout your hair. So as you brush, it brings them all the way from, once again, your scalp all the way to the ends of each hair strand. So it's really amazing. But all this happens, though, if and only if you've worked some Silky Smooth throughout your hair while it's damp right after your shower. But here's one of the, I think the last thing we'll talk about on the hair part, and then we'll go to the skin, is that you can also see at the bottom of the screen, it does in fact protect the skin. So the dimethicone will, the natural dimethicone, it will kind of create a little bit of a barrier on the scalp so that if you do happen to have dandruff, or maybe if you find that your scalp gets kind of flaky and dried out a little bit, which is very natural, especially this time of year, and gets worse, of course, in wintertime in certain places, the dimethicone is going to lock that moisture in, lock those antioxidants in, the jojoba, lock in, of course, not just the jojoba too, but of course the other ingredients here in Silky Smooth, and make sure that your hair is as beautiful as it's supposed to be. So make sure you're using Silky Smooth. Now let's jump on here. We talked about hair. Now, what does it do for our skin? Well, we mentioned some of the crossover benefits from the jojoba, the dimethicone, and the other ingredients. Now let's consider, by adding grapeseed oil, what would that do for us? What that'll do is naturally enhance some of the skin, especially around the eyes, and attacks stretch marks specifically, because you know stretch marks are a little bit different than the rest of the skin. But the grapeseed oil works almost as an antioxidant and has a rejuvenating effect to level out skin blemishes and make wherever you put the Silky Smooth look the same. Now, I should also mention here really quickly that if you've been using anti-aging serums before, then you know that quite often they're being sold as something that, well, just apply it and within 5 or 10 minutes, your wrinkles go away. Well, there's only two ways to make sure wrinkles go away within that short period of time. Either you're putting a bunch of reflective synthetics down deep into those cracks, almost like filling the Grand Canyon with mirrors, so that as light hits those lines and wrinkles, it's reflected out and you can't actually see how deep they are. That's one. And that's, I know it sounds strange, but that is very, very common. A lot of those anti-aging serums that you'll see out there do just that. It's all about light reflectivity. The other way that's also very common with anti-aging serums, as they call them, is it's all about just plumping up the skin, almost like a topical Botox. It's an inflammatory that swells the skin. And you can imagine if you've got the Grand Canyon and you saturate both sides and it squish together because they're all swollen. Yeah, of course, that Grand Canyon is not very visible. But what happens after the inflammation goes down? It's going to open back up. Well, what Silky Smooth does is works not on the symptoms, but on the causes, so that all the way from your nervous system, even up from your bloodstream through your subcutaneous level, dermis and epidermis, you're rehydrating, energizing the skin with vitamins, minerals, nutrients, antioxidants, so that your skin can be as healthy as it's supposed to be. And grapeseed is one of those very interesting components that facilitates exactly that. And especially if you're using CBX4, it's going to just magnify those benefits because it brings all those antioxidants to the surface and levels out your skin. That's one of the anti-aging benefits there. And of course, the elasticity and epithelium structure is restored too. But we also have to understand what the meadow foam does. Now, I know it sounds kind of strange. No, it's not some kind of foamy nastiness out in the middle of a meadow. No, meadow foam is a plant. And this plant is also very unique in the sense that if you can extract its essence, it contains a lot of antioxidants. We talked about those a second ago. Those antioxidants are necessary to reverse visible aging. And at the same time, it also hydrates your hair. So remember, there's a lot of crossover here between all these ingredients. They work on your hair and on your skin from Silky Smooth. But it also augments the dimethicone and builds upon that moisture barrier so that you're not dehydrating yourself too quickly. And if you've ever had this experience, then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe when you got up in the morning, you got out of the shower, you styled your hair, and then by the end of the day, your hairdo is gone. You're all frizzy and your hair is just a complete total mess. Well, why did that happen? Well, it's because you didn't have some of these ingredients, and which of course is normal. Most people don't, because you didn't have that high level of the antioxidants and that high level of lipids, the natural lipids, the sebum, and those other natural ingredients that are necessary to ensure that throughout the course of the day, your skin and your hair are maintaining their health. The squalene is one of my favorite ingredients because not only does it kind of augment some of the benefits we talked about, but it's one of those things that gives Silky Smooth that silky feel. Any of you who've used Silky Smooth, you put a squirt or two on your hand and you just sort of do this. It almost feels like, gosh, it's even hard to describe. Sort of like an ice cube on an ice cube. It's so slick. Imagine greasing yourself down and then running across an ice skating rink. That slippery, that's what Silky Smooth is. And squalene is what contributes to that. Now, why do we want that slippery feel? Well, it's not just a slippery feel. It's not greasing your hair down. What it's doing is it's bringing those natural lipids to the surface, coating your hair, coating your skin, and ensuring that you're locking in that moisture that you're losing throughout the course of the day. Think about this. Let's say you drink a gallon of water a day. Well, how much of that water is being eliminated through number one in the bathroom, but how much of it is just simply being metabolized and also evaporating off of our skin? And as that water evaporates, which is about 40% of the hydration we consume every day, as that water evaporates, that's naturally going to take with it a lot of those nutrients that our body makes and needs to maintain our health, both on our skin and in our hair. The squalene sort of locks that down and at the same time has a really unique function in the sense that it also helps remove toxins and blocks some of those UV rays from the sun. How does it do it? I wish I knew the scientific benefits exactly and functionality of it. All I know is this, that squalene has been proven to do exactly that. So if you want to make sure that when you're out here in the summertime, if you're out in the sun at all, don't want to lose all of your nutrients from your hair and your scalp to evaporation. And if you don't want to have UV rays destroying your hair and your skin, squalene is one of the best products of all time. So where does that bring us though? That means that as a member of TruIQ, we know that Silky Smooth is the #1 first and only guaranteed anti-aging serum that works with our blood chemistry that will reverse visible aging on our hair and on our skin. How do we get it? As a member of TruIQ, you can add this to your smart chip. You can have it exclusively as your smart chip, or you can even buy it as a customer. There are multiple ways to obtain Silky Smooth, my friends. Here's though my recommendation. If you're hearing this for the first time, I recommend become a member of TruIQ on Q Club Prime. Why? Because you can select Silky Smooth as your product, and you're also going to receive cash and crypto benefits that are unequaled anywhere on the planet, but only from TruIQ.